Hello friends, welcome to the Complete Zero to Hero course in Software World, and we are on the week 3. In this week we'll be completing the module 1 and module 2, that is control flow statements and functions. And sorry for the last week, I was not able to upload the videos due to the personal problem. So in this week I'll try to complete these two modules as fast as possible. So without any delay, let's get started. First of all, what is control flow statements? In general, control flow statements are nothing but those statements which are executed based on the logic, simple logic. Let's say I will mostly explain you with the help of example. That would be really better. Let's say currently in the market, COVID variant is being started. So let's write a program for identifying whether India will be under lockdown or not based on the COVID variant death rate. See, now here I have created one variable name COVID variant death rate, and I'm taking the value from the user. If the user enter the value, the current death rate value is greater than 150, then the India will be under lockdown. If the COVID variant death rate is less than 150, then India is free from the lockdown. That is how simple it would be. If I run this program, first it will ask the user to enter the current death rates. What are the deaths? Let's say I have entered 34. Now once I enter it, you can check this logic. Here we have two blocks, if block and else block. This, if the condition, like let's say now I'm entering 34, this 34 will be stored in the COVID variant death rate variable. So it will be evaluated here. If 34 is greater than 150, is it true? No, it is not true. So it will come into the else block and this code will be executed. If condition is true, then if condition block code will be executed, else it won't be executed. If the else is false, if condition is true, if will be executed. If condition is false, else block data code will be executed. That is how it is. Now since I have typed it has 34, so the India is free from the lockdown statement will be consoled. So you can see that India is free from the lockdown. Let's say if I run it again, and if I, let's say the threats are more than 150, let's say 170, 167, then India will be under lockdown. Sorry, 167. India under lockdown. That is how it is. If I try to like introduce if else conditions kind of thing, like let's say if the COVID death rates, variant death rates are greater than 50 and less than 150, in that case, free lockdown will be in a specific time period. Now let's add that code now. Let's say COVID variant death rate is greater than 50, and this is an add operator. COVID variant death rate less than 150. Then in that case, India under lockdown in specific time periods. But let's say if COVID variant death rate is less than 50, if it is under 50, then we can consider it as there is no lockdown in India. India is free from lockdown. This is how simple it is. I'm checking here. If the COVID variant value is greater than 150, then India will be under lockdown. And if the COVID variant death rate is greater than 50 and less than 150, then India will be under lockdown, but in some specific periods like morning or evening, that way. And if the COVID death rate variant is less than 50, then India is completely free from the lockdown. If I run this, let's say I've entered 67, some random number, so it will be lockdown. India will be under lockdown in specific time periods. 67. In specific time frames. This is how it is. Like we just don't need only to do a console logs. You can do anything over here. We can write even inside this condition. We can even write another if condition and do our stuff. It is our choice. We can do anything. So mostly the intention is to make you understand that if based on this if conditions, the code will be executed. If the condition is true for the first if condition only, then that particular block of code will be executed. If that is false, then it will check for the subsequent if condition. If that is true, then it will be executed. Else, if it goes to the other block, and it goes on checking like that in that way. If every condition is false, then in that case, else block code will be executed. That is how simple it is. This is the if conditions. Now if I check for the if I make you understand of the switch statements. Switch statement is nothing but switch statement. Instead of writing this if else conditions in a kind of ladder manner, like if else, if in that way, better we can use an if switch statements. Switch statements is an alternative for the control if else conditions, else statements. So it will be having, first of all, it will be switch statement will be taking one value. Based on that value, it will be checking with its available cases. If let's say here using this switch statement, I am checking whether the user entered the name, the whatever the user enters the name, it will be stored in first COVID variant name, and it will be checking like whether and it goes through the switch statement. If the user enters JN1, which is the current latest variant of COVID, so it consoles yes, JN1 is the latest COVID variant. But if user enters anything apart from JN1, then it shows like no, JN10 is not the latest COVID variant. And also if user enters anything like A05, A07, then it will be consoling these output. No, A07 and not the latest code variant. But if user enters anything out of these 1, 2, 3, 4 values, then the user enter name is not a COVID variant. Text will be consoled to the user. Now if I run this, now let's say I entered TUV10, then this is not a COVID variant, and it should show me user enter name is not a COVID variant. User enter name is not a COVID variant. Now if I run JN1, it is an latest variant of COVID, so it should show me that latest variant in text. Yes, JN1 is the latest COVID variant. So this is how the code will be executed based on our particular value. The what value we are passing here, this value gets stored into this variable, and based on this variable, these cases will be checked. For which case the value is getting matched, for that particular block of code will be executed. Here, if I tell you about this break statement is nothing but once this console.log is done, it won't be checking for the other cases. Directly it will be coming out of the switch statement. Break in the sense, in simple, like it will be coming out of that switch. That's it. Nothing more than that. Now, okay guys, this is what does control statements in general. Now today we have completed conditional statements like if else statements and switch statements. Now in the next video we'll try to cover this loop statements. Thank you all. Have a great day.